Okay, today's episode is one hell of a ride. I'm joined by Jeff Hudson, a 6-time Emmy-nominated TV producer who's spent decades helping other people tell their stories. But this time, the story is his. Jeff's new memoir, oh, here it is, Deconstructing Us. It's probably backwards, but that's okay. My Trouble with a Throuple. This story dives into the real, raw, messy, beautiful complexity of falling into and out of a triad relationship. So we talk about the myths of non-monogamy, why thruples are emotional rocket fuel, and what happens when love stretches you beyond who you thought you were. So this isn't just a story about relationships, it's a story about humanity, really. Some heartbreak, some healing, and some real talk about jealousy and identity and why sometimes 3 is a crowd. Enjoy. So first, welcome to Nope, We're Not Monogamous.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm really happy that you're here. I started reading your book. I haven't finished it yet, though, but I'm really loving it. I like your style. I like your storytelling style.
I very much just sort of tell everything from my heart. And sometimes that actually gets me into a lot of trouble, and it has in my life. But I feel like honesty is the best policy. So that's where I went with this book.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, in all the things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, cool. Well, would you just real brief,
Yeah.
just for the listeners, let them know, kind of who you are, what you do, what's your what's your story?
Sure. My name is Jeff, and I was a television producer for about 25 years. I started way back in the day at the old talk shows, Sally, Jesse Raphael, Montel Williams, Ricky Lake, the original Ricky Lake. And then I kind of moved out to California. I started doing a lot of dating shows. I don't know if you remember the show Eliminate, where one guy went on a date with 4 women or vice versa, and then eliminated them throughout the date until one was left. I did some design shows. My big claim to fame was a show called The Doctors, which was a medical talk show with 4 doctors on the panel. I actually got an Emmy for that. I'm very proud of. And now I am predominantly spending my time writing, which I obviously got my first book out, and I'm working on my second book. My partner is very excited that my second book is fiction. And it's horror. It's a horror book because that's really where I love horror. I'm obsessed with horror.
Yeah.
And I also work at a resort here in Palm Springs. I live in Palm Springs, California, and I'm kind of living the midlife life right now.
That's amazing. I went to Palm Springs a couple of years ago for a retreat, and I fell in love with it. It was so freaking nice.
It is so brilliant here. I will say that I've been out here since 2004, back and forth between LA and here. And every time my friends come from LA and they enter the Palm Springs zone, they all immediately just zen out. There's something that I don't know if it's the big mountain or whatever the case may be, but I could have the most stress case friends, and as soon as they come into town, it's it's all good. And that's the only time I want to see them now is in Palm Springs. I don't want to see them in LA anymore. I'm not going back to LA anymore. It's too stressful. That damn 405, fuck that. No way.
Yeah, it was. When I was there, I was so happy. I was like, God, this is just, it just felt so good.
It's a good place, and it's very sexual too. It's a very sexual town.
Yes.
We do like that.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, let's start with something simple. What does non-monogamy mean to you, or what does it look like for you?
For me, it's two people who are in a relationship that have agreed to open up the gates and allow each other to have sexual relations with other people. That comes in many forms, and it comes in many forms for different people. For some people, it could be you could kiss other people, you could cuddle with other people. For some people, it could be foreplay, it could be oral sex or whatever. And then it could be intercourse. For some people, it could be like, oh, we could only do it if we're with each other. And for others, it could be don't ask, don't tell. There's very many degrees of open relationships and polyamory. And I've been through almost all the stages. And I think going into my throuple kind of elevated it to a whole new level that I was not prepared for. And because with that
Mm-hmm.
comes that, I think it comes with a set of emotional stuff. It's for me, polyamory and open relationship and non-monogamy has always been, I'm gonna go fuck this guy. I'm gonna go have sex with this person, and I come home to my person, and that was
Yeah.
okay. Uh, Getting involved in a throuple, you allow the person sort of a co-equality in the relationship where feelings are now involved, decisions are now involved, choices are now involved, and that I wasn't so sure I was ready for, even though I actually truly believed at the end of the day that I was ready for it.
Uh-huh.
Mhm,
Uh-huh.
mhm,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
mhm.
I feel like most people who have an established relationship, like an established couple, have this idea that a third person is the easiest way to go,
Yeah.
when really it's like the hardest. As a parent of 3 children, I know that anytime you have uneven numbers, somebody's always feeling left out.
Yeah. I didn't realize it until it was actually happening, but you go from a two-person relationship, just me and my person, and then when you actually declare the throuple, you have four relationships going on. There's the relationship
Yep.
between me and my person. There's the relationship between me and the new person. There's the relationship between the new person and my partner. And then there's the relationship between all three of us, right? There's four
Yeah.
relationships going on. And that is mind-boggling. That to me was, I don't know how the third person managed it all, because he actually had the most work to do, if you think about it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I call him the magician in my book, the master magician.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's so much.
for sure.
It's so much. Yeah. Yeah. What was the most surprising, like that couldn't have been the most surprising thing for you, just how many relationships it
No,
was?
no, no, no. Uh, Surprising what? What's your question?
What was the most surprising thing that you learned about that? Like, what did you not expect?
Well, first off, I will tell you that I have never in my life, not even with my former guy of 22 years, I was swept by this third person. I have never fallen so quickly, so hard for anybody as I did this third person. And even though like my guy of 22 years, I fell pretty quickly, but like I don't know what it was that this guy had over me, but I was immediately entranced by everything about him. So I was in living in this bubble of, oh my God, this is amazing, this is amazing, this is amazing. And then I actually met this guy first, and then I introduced him to my partner. And my partner and I never actually had threesomes together off. So we never really agreed upon who we wanted to be with. This guy was very much my type, but he had a very soft demeanor. He had a very pretty demeanor about him. So I was like, you know what? I think that they're going to get along. And sure enough, they got along well. And they immediately hit it off, which is what I expected. So it all happened really fast. And what surprised me is that my partner fell as quickly as I did. And
Yeah.
we, within weeks of meeting this guy, who was from the middle of nowhere, Canada, we're in Southern California, we meet in Mexico, we open the gates and we just let this guy in. And I never in a million years ever thought that I would do it, but it felt extremely good and right at the beginning. So all I could do was go with it.
Wow. Whew.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And all those good feelings you had in the beginning, did you feel good about following those?
I did in the beginning. I I should, and I talk about this in the book as well. I should have listened. I'm a firm believer in listening to your body's inner whisper.
Yeah.
And I generally do, but for some reason I didn't do it in this circumstance. Like there were signs and things happening that I should have said to myself, I need to think about this for a second. Right at the beginning of our throuple, especially when his name, I'll call him Lucas because that's what I call him in the book. He incessantly was FaceTiming us, texting us, communicating with us electronically to an extent that I have never done before. I don't like talking on the phone. I don't like texting. It's not me. But every time that WhatsApp ping happened or every time I heard like his name being announced, my body just like, I got the tingles, you know? But it
Mhm.
was so obsessive that I look back at it now and I think that it was definitely something that I should have paid more attention to. It wasn't, no, I don't think it was normal. The amount of time that we were all communicating on the phone. It didn't, it, as I look back at it now, it just doesn't feel right. Um, and then as we progressed, I started to notice that there were things sort of occurring between the two of them uh, that I was watching from the sidelines. I could see the way they were holding each other. I could see the way they were looking at each other. I often spent the nights in the adjacent bedroom because there were three of us. There were three golden retrievers, too many bodies in the bed. And I was the
Yeah.
one that left. And I started to realize that, okay, nobody really cares that I'm in the other room. Uh,
Mm.
but at that point, by the time I got to that point, I also realized that my partner had very much fallen in love with this guy as much as I had, right?
Yeah.
So there was a part of me that wanted to call it quits, but then there was the other side of me that said, okay, I could lose my partner. He could just go be with this guy and leave me if I really push this. So I was kind of really caught in a catch 22 situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's a super, super common concern that happens
Yeah.
when people are like, "Ooh, there's something about this relationship that isn't working for me, but if I call it, I could lose the up parts that I do want."
Yeah.
And then people just keep going
Yeah.
until
listen,
until the next step.
I yeah, totally, right?
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in non-monogamy. I think that most people truly, I think most people will do it. I think most people want to do it, or most people are lying about it. Period. And when they're
Yeah.
lying about it, they're probably just cheating. So it's why are we not opening up this conversation and making people feel comfortable with talking to their spouses or their boyfriends or their girlfriends and saying, this is what I'm interested in, this is what I want, instead of, hey, I'm or going out and cheating. Like, what's the point of cheating? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Just talk to your partner. And listen, even if your partner's not into it when you first have that conversation, you have now opened the door, and I can guarantee you, or I'm pretty sure that it's on their mind as well, right? And as soon as you open that conversation up, even if that partner says, no, I don't want to do it, I guarantee you in a year or 2 years down the road, they might say, hey, remember remember when you asked me that question? I've been thinking about it, right? We're human beings, we're sexual creatures. It's like
Yep.
it's part of who we are. I don't believe in um, sex with the same person for the rest of my life. A, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. And B, I just think
Huh?
not only does it actually hurt you as a person, I think it hurts your relationship. I think being open and being poly or being non-monogamous actually helps your current relationship that you're in. You learn things about the person that you're dating or married to or whatever that maybe you wouldn't have known just from sex with each other. They might come back and tell your story, and they might say, hey, when I met with this person, this is what happened, and I actually really enjoyed it. And maybe that was something that you were uncomfortable with talking with your partner. But when you open the gate to the third person, it sort of allows a more things to happen. And I think it's amazing. I think it's just an amazing thing.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. There's something one thing is, just in long-term relationships, we kind of get into these patterns of like, I already know what my partner's going to say. I'm not even going to talk about things because I know how they feel,
Yeah.
right? And then when you have someone new where you're learning about them and they're learning about you, you show different parts of yourself and you expose different parts of yourself, whether not even just to that newer person, but to your existing partners as well. And then you get to like have experiences that you get to bring home,
Yeah,
do things in new ways, be
exactly.
novel.
Right. Like, why wouldn't you want to
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
I think that, like I said, I think most people, what I have found really interesting over the course of my non-monogamous life, which has probably been about 15 years, around 15 years, is that when I first started, I was very apprehensive about discussing it with anybody. I did it. My partner and I
Uh-huh.
agreed upon it, and we just did it. Then I was like, I am really enjoying this, and I'm going to start talking about it. And I started talking about it with my gay friends. I started talking about it with my straight friends, and I started talking about it with my family. And what I found really interesting is that almost all of the time, the conversations actually lasted for a while. And it wasn't like, oh, this is what I do. And they got squirmish and backed off. They started asking questions
Yeah.
because they were interested, because,
Yeah.
oh, this is something I've thought about, or this is something I want to do. And I think that we live in a time now that it's all over movies, it's all over TV. We're not in the year 2000 anymore. There's so many
Yeah.
TV shows and films that have explored this, and people are open to it, and I think people want to know about it. And what I've learned is that the more people ask questions, it's because they're into it. Period. They want to know. They want to do it.
Yeah, they're curious about something that interests them.
Yeah. Yeah. And chances are, like, there's, I think you and me and some of us are the brave ones who really push the envelope and we really talk about it and we really go that extra
Yeah.
mile and take this important subject and bring it out in the open. Um, but I applaud anybody at any level of this, even if you're just thinking about it. There's nothing wrong with it. Uh, Absolutely nothing wrong with it, and they should never think that. It's actually a very natural and human thing to occur in your soul, you know?
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to before I did this, I used to own a salon, and I would talk to my clients. There were some clients I was just open with and would tell them what was going on in my life. Yeah, me and my husband went to a swingers club, whatever. And then there were others that I was scared to talk to, like, I'm like, "Oh, she's a very proper real estate agent." But then I would, and those were always the ones that were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, my husband and I used to do that too.
Mhm.
Tell me more."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh,
It's always the ones that you're not expecting that really, like, do that.
every
And you know
time."
what? The ones that, like, poo-poo you or shush you up, fuck off. I don't know, like, um, I can't be bothered with you at this point in my life. You know, it's like,
Those aren't my
yeah,
people.
but not my people either. Am I allowed to
Yeah.
swear on this? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tend to curse a lot. So
Yeah, me too.
okay, good.
What led you to explore non-monogamy? Like, was there, like a defining moment or like a slow opening?
This is a very interesting question that you ask, and I think you might be surprised by this answer.
Alright.
So, my non-monogamy actually came not really by interest. 8 years to the day that my partner and I were together, we were monogamous,
Mhm.
and I found out that he cheated on me, and
Mhm.
we split up for a little while because I was crushed, like, beyond belief, you
Mhm.
know? This is in a world as a gay man where PrEP wasn't around, we couldn't protect ourselves from HIV, from PrEP or whatever. So I was still using condoms at the time, and he was off fucking people on the straddles, right? I was devastated. We broke up,
I bet.
and um, we got back together a few months later, and he came, we met at a bar one day and he said, "Why don't you come home? Let's give this another shot." And I decided that I was going to do it. I loved him immensely. But the only way that I could get back together with him was if I opened the relationship. And I said to him, if we get back together, the relationship needs to be open. And I did that in a weird way to have some control over his cheating, because I knew
Uh-huh.
that he needed that, and I knew that, like, he would never keep a stick in his pants. So I knew that I had to open it up. I knew that I had to allow him where he could safely come home and tell me stories, and I could go do my own thing as well. That being said, it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to us. It worked out. Even though the decision of why it happened was sort of weird, it became a really good thing for both of us. It strengthened our relationship. It opened up my sexuality, probably his as well. Um, and that's kind of how it happened. It happened in a way where I thought by opening, I was sort of just keeping tabs on his cheating. But then it
Mhm.
actually turned out to be something much better than.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's really funny that you say it felt like a way to, like, control his cheating, 'cause I think that that is what a lot of people do, is they have this Like if I know all the things, then I can stay safe. If I
Mhm.
can set the right rules in place, if I can make sure that I have my hands in all the things,
Yeah.
then I can feel emotionally safe.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, because, um, like for me, I need to know, like with my current guy, like even though he is more apprehensive about always telling me everything, I always ask him. I'm like, tell me exactly what happened. There's something about not knowing that bothers me. I need to
Mhm.
know what you did. I need to know, like, either that you're gonna go do it, that you're doing it, or that you did it, but I wanna know the details. And I don't know why that is, but I think it makes me feel that we're completely communicating and we're open, but I also just like I just need to know. Like I actually like hearing it. The thought of not quite knowing that something that may have gone on makes me makes me crazy. What about
Yeah.
you? How
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel about that?
Uh-huh. I I have had both experiences actually. So I've always been a pretty like jealous and possessive person my whole life. And so when I decided I wasn't going to be monogamous, I was like, well, that's going to cause a problem. I got to figure that out.
Yeah, you got to figure
Uh
that out for sure. Mhm.
and so my first thing was like I want to know everything. I want to know the conversations you're having. I want to know the sex you're having. I want to know everything because I thought that w- part of that was like my imagination is going to make everything so much worse than the reality,
Exactly.
right? Um, and yet, even though I knew all the things, I would still fixate on some of it and be like, well, was it the left side of the bed or the right side of the bed? Like, I would just like it was like a bottomless pit of information that I needed. Like
Right.
my partner was like, I can't tell you enough to make you feel secure. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, and so then I started going, well, okay, maybe I don't need to know everything. Maybe there's certain aspects of it that I need to know, right? Like not every little detail, but enough to know like, oh, you're doing a thing.
Right.
Cool. Have fun. Are you enjoying it? Can I feel maybe a little bit of compersion for that? For me, it always came down to were they better than me? Like that, like just the things that triggered my insecurities. And now I'm like, okay, I would just like to know that you came home and you still love me. So I've gone through a whole like spectrum.
Exactly.
And a lot of it, I think, came down to my own internal sense of security. Like
Yeah.
just kept working on my self-esteem. So that like now, if I want to know details, it's because like I'm real curious and actually interested in the details. Like, did something hot happen that I can be excited about?
Yeah, I love that.
Is there something I can learn from?
Right.
But in the beginning, it was very much like, just give me anything to make me not feel insecure.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And it's
totally
like,
I totally understand that. And I don't think and what I've learned, and probably you have as well, is like they're never better. Those people are never better than you. It's just different,
never.
and different
Yeah.
is okay. And they're never gonna be you. They're never gonna match you. They're never gonna be better than you or outdo you. They're just different. And sometimes different is
Hmm.
okay. And like you said, I think that there's something to be said about hearing the story and being turned on by it and learning from it and maybe like incorporating some of that into your own sex life or whatever the case may be. I after this throuple ended uh, in December 2022 in a catastrophic way. I don't know if you got to that part in the book yet.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's pretty. My parents get involved. It's a whole thing. Um,
Oh,
yeah, he did it in front of my parents at Christmas. Yeah, 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 yeah.
mm,
Uh-huh. So,
oh,
uh, I'm not bitter anymore at all because I truly believe the universe actually set this third person into my life, A, to bring the two of them together, and B, to get me out of what I was in. And I gotta tell you,
Mm,
I loved what I was in. Okay.
yeah.
But I also think that even though I didn't want to face it, I think it was time for what I was in to end. And it was time for me to grow as a person. And like, I'm an artist, I've always been sort of a person that is always trying new things and doing new things. And he was very more, very business minded type of guy. And what the point I'm trying to get at is my sex life in the past 2 years transcends my entire existence prior to it. Like, what has happened with the person I've met is off the charts. And it would have never happened if Lucas Walker did not walk into my life.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. 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 That makes so much sense. My partner says there's no such thing as a bad breakup. I mean, even if it's, painful or whatever,
Yeah,
like nobody should be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to be in a relationship with them.
100%.
And like, right? And and when things shift and change, like there's so many opportunities that open up to you that you don't know are opportunities. You don't know that what's available to you if you're in this box. You don't know what other boxes there are.
Yep. And I, it's cliche and people talk about it all the time, but I actually really do believe, and that's what I talk about in the book as well. It's like listening to your inner whisper. And I really do believe in the universe protecting you, and I believe that the universe guides you and you have to watch the signs and you have to be, you know, weary, cognizant of what those signs are. After this breakup, so many people kept saying to me, karma, 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 karma's gonna get him, karma's gonna get him. And every time someone said that to me, I was like, I don't want karma to get him. I didn't want that for him. And I truly mean that. I don't want karma to get him. And I don't, even though like I hated them so much for the time that I was going through, I am thankful that it happened, and I'm thankful that they have each other. Um, because there's no point. Like if I dwell my whole life on why, how, it's only going to hurt me moving forward. It's only going to hurt my
Mhm.
relationships moving forward. Like your boyfriend is your boyfriend or partner. What do you call
That's
him?
my boyfriend. Yeah,
Your
the sex
boyfriend.
bot.
He's very
Yeah.
right. I actually, haven't heard that phrase often, but I really agree with that. I don't think they're really breakup. There isn't.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I think it's really good. I like what you're talking about the universe protecting you. I like to think of our brain as like we have these really smart but really dumb computers.
Yeah.
But the algorithm is designed to pick up on the clues to put you in the direction that you should be going.
Yeah.
The algorithm that your brain uses,
Mhm.
right? If you're paying attention to it, it will be like, hey, turn left here, turn right here,
Mhm.
open that door, don't go anywhere near that door. And if
Mhm.
you're paying attention to it, where you wind up is like, great, that was exactly what I was supposed to be.
Mhm.
That all worked out.
I mean, how many times do you look back and everyone experiences this all the time where you say, "Oh, I knew I should have done that. I felt it, I didn't do it." We do it all the
Yep.
time. And the one thing that I am really committing to now at this point in my life is not doing that anymore. Like, I'm not doing that, like, oh, something said to me, do this, but I didn't do it. I'm not doing it. If I feel innately in that moment like something is not right, then I'm gonna go with that feeling. If I feel like something is right in that moment, I'm gonna go with that feeling as well. If I'm confused, I'm just gonna pour myself a vodka.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been so conditioned to ignore our intuition.
Yeah.
Like so conditioned. I went to a thing a few years ago where it was a weekend with a bunch of women learning about intuition and how to like pay attention to it. And I was like, she was like, that gut feeling that you have. And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what feeling you're talking about. And so what she had me do, she was like, just flip a quarter. Anytime you're making a decision, I'm going to wear the red shoes if it's on heads. I'm going to wear the black shoes if it's on tails. She was like, you flip a quarter, it lands on heads. If you're like, if you feel disappointed, you don't have to do the thing it said, but now you know what your gut feeling is.
Mhm.
You really want to wear the black shoes. It doesn't matter what the quarter said, but learn what your intuition is saying. I was
Exactly.
like, that's brilliant. So I started doing that.
And that kind of stuff happens all day, every minute of the day. It's
Yep.
those little things that even now, if I think that I'm supposed to make a left turn and I'm gonna make that left turn. I follow what I feel like I'm supposed to do. I hope it doesn't kill me, but
Meh, guess we'll see.
well, as the universe is telling me it's my time.
I think that's kind of everyone who opens a monogamous relationship is like, I hope this doesn't kill me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, let me ask you a question. So, do you think that most people are interested in this subject matter? Like, do you think that, am I like, because I really actually believe that most people, like I said, are either interested in it, want to do it, or lying about it, and that's just cheating. Like, how much? I mean,
I would say about half.
about half. Okay, that's fair. I mean, does it really exist where, and maybe it does, and I'm sure that because my parents are a living proof of it. They're together like 60 years and they're committed and they're lovebirds still. And I love it. But at the same time, it's like, how often does that really, 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 truly happen? Does it really, really,
Right.
really happen? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. God bless my parents for it, and that's why I always strived for it. And I think that they're a little disappointed that I've gone far away from what they believed. But I don't know. I just feel like it's just not something that is there anymore, or maybe it never was there. I don't.
I think, okay, first of all, out of the billions of people in the world, right? Like the chances that you're going to work with or live next door to the one person you're going to fall in love with, like really that's so far fetched. And we have so many people who are like serial monogamous, right? They go from one relationship, 5 years in this relationship, 10 years in this relationship, a year in this relationship, right? And every time they're in love, every time it's real, or maybe they look back and go, "Oh, it really wasn't." But I mean, at the time it was. Um, so monogamy for life? No, I don't think that is really what we're wired for.
Mm-mm.
But some people, monogamy is what works for them because of their emotional capacity or their sexual capacity or just, life being life and what they're actually able to do or what they can conceive of. But I would say about half are like, if the opportunity were there, I'd probably take it. If
Yeah,
I didn't think I'd lose the life that I have, I'd probably take it.
yeah, hall pass, right? Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that has a lot to do with it too. It's like, 'cause if it ends catastrophically like it did with me, but even though I don't consider this, I was always not monogamous with him. It was the throuple aspect that sort of crashed it all. But there is that element of you could potentially lose everything in your life. Like your whole life gets turned
Yeah.
upside down. I lost my home and I lost family, I lost friends. But like I said, um, again, there are my people and my places or whatever that have not left me. And that's my constant, you know? And my friend reminded me after the split that really sort of resonated with me is that the people that always loved me and stood by me were still standing by me. the people that weren't there anymore were meant to go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which I think is great. You know, we evolve and change throughout our lives, and the people that we're in relationship with and in community with also grow and change. So it makes sense that, you know, we'll have different people with us in
Mhm.
different parts of our lives.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm curious, before and after the throuple, was jealousy an issue for you?
No. So I was, and that's why, like, I actually walked into this Throuple thinking that I could really do it, because I was not a jealous person. He was definitely not a jealous person. If you had to pick out of the two of us who was the more jealous, it would probably be me. But it was just because I needed to know everything he was doing. As long as he was telling me what he was doing, when he was doing it, how he was doing it, all that kind of stuff. As long as I could have the picture painted in my head, I was good. I was not a jealous person, because I knew at the end of his vacation or work trip or night out with his friends, if he went home with somebody, that he was coming home to me. He was getting in my bed. You know, he was mine.
Yeah.
We're waking up together. You know, we're spending Christmas together. We're moving, you know, we make the decisions together. He was my person. So jealousy was not an issue for me. Um, but as soon as the emotions got involved, as soon as I gave that third person equality in a relationship that I had cultivated for 22 years, jealousy became a big factor. And after,
Mm.
there's a part in the book that I talk about after the breakup, Lucas, the third guy, um, it was Christmas time. It was a couple days after Christmas. He was in Palm Springs as well at that time, because long story, but he came to the house with the gifts that he intended to give me over for Christmas. I had all of his wrapped as well. Don't ask me why we decided to exchange them at that point, but we did. So he comes into the house. My partner's long gone now. I don't know where the fuck he is. Lucas comes into the house, sits across this table in my dining room that's 10 feet across. All of his gifts that were geared to me are unwrapped. And he starts tossing them to me like I was a dog. He was like, "Psh, this one was meant for when we were going to be in uh, Canada at New Year's. This one was," and I was like, what the fuck? Uh, like, why are you treating me like this right now? And I realized that so he says to me during this altercation, your jealousy got in the way of everything. And
Mm.
I could barely breathe. And I said to myself later, when I could actually process what had happened in this moment, damn right I was jealous. Damn right I was jealous. I was in a 22-year relationship, and there were things going on behind my back, and things were formulating. I had every right to be jealous at that point, because
Yeah.
things were happening. 5 days later, after this all happened, I'm on Grinder, and I found the two of them in Miami Beach together. So you're gonna tell right? So you're gonna tell me that there wasn't something happening? Damn right, I'm gonna be jealous. Just saying.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. You know, I talk a lot about jealousy on the podcast because it's this thing that we use as like an insult, or like there's something wrong with you if you experience jealousy, like, oh, you're just jealous.
mm,
Like that takes away everything else that you're feeling. Like that excuses it. Like, it's fine, you're just jealous. Like,
mm.
wait, no, this is a real feeling that is coming from a
100%.
real place.
Jealousy,
And it may not be exactly what I think it is, but something is here that I need to
yeah,
address.
jealousy is a very real feeling, and nobody should ever feel ashamed or smaller because they feel jealous. Jealousy comes with the fact that you care, that you love. And if you weren't jealous to some degree, that could be maybe you don't really care or love that person. Jealousy is just another facet of loving somebody.
Hmm. Hmm. I would say that's a can be a part of it, but there's plenty of people who don't get really jealous when they love someone. I think it is one signal, and often it's a signal of um loving someone more than you love yourself.
That was me.
Uh-huh.
I l-
Uh-huh.
I and I did.
Yeah.
I think I know for a fact that I loved my partner more than I love myself as I look back and reflect
Yeah.
everything. And I think I actually wanted to love the new person as much as well, more than I love myself as
Yeah.
well. And just up until recently, I've realized that, again, I know this sounds cliche, but I really, I think people, whether it's your mom, your dad, your partner, your husband, your wife, your best friend, or whatever, I think people that are in your life love you in different ways and on different levels,
Mm.
right? So you have this pool of people that love you in all these different ways that sort of make this whole thing globe around you, right? But you're the only person that can love you yourself in all totality. You're the only person,
Okay.
I'm the only person that I have that will love me in all totality, completely.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely 100% agree. Yeah. Yeah, it's that unconditional love we're always looking for.
Mhm.
We are the only one who can love us unconditionally.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. We get to love it all.
Yep.
And then that just makes us more lovable.
Yes.
It's also just real hot.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's so good. Um, if you had the chance to do something differently in your relationship journey, what would it be?
In my whole life, or just like what happened with the throuple?
Whole life.
Uh, mm, I don't know if my partner's home, but I think I would have had more sex with women. I think I miss out on having sex with women because I
Yeah.
love straight porn, and it's something that I fantasize about a lot. And I cut it off so early in my life because I just thought I had to be gay, and I was gay, and I didn't really explore my sexuality with women. And I miss, so that might be my next book.
There you go. There you go. That's amazing. You know, we grew up in a time where like we all know bi erasure is a thing, but we grew up in a time when it was like really a thing. Like you had to pick.
Right, exactly. You one or the other.
Like I was in high school knowing I was bi, and then I was like, well, I'm straight now. I'm in love with a man.
Yeah, and
I guess I'm straight.
I also chose because I came out in 1995, and again, it was before PrEP. HIV was very prevalent, so I also felt that like it wasn't right for me to sort of cross that bridge because I was always afraid of like, what if I got HIV and then I got the woman sick or whatever the case may be, So I was just like, I'm gonna go this way. This is the lifestyle I'm choosing, and that's what I'm gonna do. And now it's a different ball game. PrEP is here. I've been
Yeah.
on PrEP for many years now. It's changed my life. Like, I mean, so much. I love not having to use condoms anymore. It's like,
I can't imagine that because I'm still fertile.
3 kids. How old are your kids?
I don't want those. I have 3 teenagers.
Oh, geez. Really? You're like
Yeah,
practically
yeah,
a teenager yourself.
Thank you.
You have really good skin.
Yeah. Thank you. I moisturize.
Yeah, you dip. Do you do the mommy dearest thing where you dip your head in the bowl of ice water? Did you ever see Mommy
Oh
Dearest?
God, no, that's too much work. I'm really lazy with my skin. Pump.
I am too,
Good to go.
and I need to be better because the desert just dries you out, and I don't put anything on, but I sure like
Gotta wear that sunscreen.
Mm. I'm gonna get real wrinkled like Robert Redford did, so I'm all good. I'm never gonna put anything in my face. I'm never doing fillers, none of that. It starts
Yeah,
with
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
With guys, it starts to look weird. There's a lot of guys I hear that put all this stuff in their face, and there's it's like they go,
Yeah.
"Hey,
Yeah.
Liberace."
That's amazing. Where can people find your book?
All you gotta do is Google it. It's pretty much everywhere. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble. Deconstructing Us, My Trouble with the Throuple. You can also go to my there it is. You
Light
can
on
also
it.
go to my
There it is.
Instagram, J Hud Golden on Instagram, and there's a link there. But if you Google it, there's like 15 different avenues, whether it's print or ebook that you could find it.
Amazing. Yeah, like I said, I'm really enjoying it. I when are you gonna record an audiobook?
Everyone keeps asking me this. I hate listening to my
My
voice.
problem is this, right? Like sitting down and
I get
reading.
it. I get it. I hate listening to my voice. If I listen back to this, I'll probably turn it off after like a minute because I hate hearing my voice. So chances are I'm not gonna record an audiobook on this one. But my next book, which is fiction, I probably will, but I'll probably hire someone to do it. I'm just, I have a weird like I don't know. I had a speech impediment when I was a kid, and I was sent to speech class, and I did the W's wrong with the R's and all that kind of stuff. And I still have issues with like marbling my words, and so I'm very self-conscious about it. I definitely don't want anyone to have to listen to a whole book.
No, you have a great voice. It would be lovely.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm gonna put all the stuff in the show notes so that people can find you. Okay, I have one more question for you, and this one
Yes.
does not go on the main episode. It's for my Patreon supporters at
Sure.
patreon.com/non-monogamous. And this segment's called Just the Tip.
Okay.
What is your give us a favorite or best sex tip?
Hey, it was so good meeting
Amazing.
you. Thank you for having me. I so appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, that was Jeff Hudson's Just the Tip. If you missed it, you can get all the juicy stuff at patreon.com/notmonogamous. And in the meantime, if you enjoyed the episode, hit all the buttons, right? Like it, review it, say subscribe, follow, whatever, wherever you're watching this or wherever you're listening to this, hit all the good buttons, but ignore the bad buttons. Thanks.